Andres from Doble A Sports, back with another video covering the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And in this video, I will be covering the second match day for Group B, where Canada took on CURAÇAO and Honduras took on fellow Central American country El Salvador. Starting with the first matchup, Canada versus Curaçao. Canada were the clear favorites to win this game following a dominant 6-0 win against Honduras. But instead, we ended up with a stunning result, a 1-1 draw, with Canada having to settle for only 1 point in this game. Starting off with Curaçao, while they didn't win this game, they should absolutely feel proud of how they performed in this game. As they looked like the better team, especially in that second half, creating many opportunities, including, I think, 3 goals that were eventually called back and ruled no goal. The first goal was called off. The first goal that was called off was due to a player being offside after a really long VAR review. And while it was sad to see for those rooting for the underdog, it was the correct call when the replay was shown. He was just slightly offside. It wasn't by much, but nevertheless, the rule is the rule, and he was offside. As for the second goal coming off a set play, this no goal was definitely controversial and will probably be seen as a, CONCACAF in the dark moment. As they say, dark CONCACAF. The goal went in off a set play, but they called it back because apparently the kick came on a fake referee whistle that came from the crowd. The sound of that whistle came from the crowd. However, when watching the game from the TV, and even the commentators in the booth in the stadium said the same thing, there did not appear to be any sort of other outside sound. So it does raise the question, what did the referee on the field hear? That will definitely be seen as controversial, as if that goal counted, Curaçao would have won the game 2-1. Curaçao was then told to take it again, this time at the exact moment the referee blew the whistle to continue play and take the free kick. And while the ball again found the end of the net, it was again called offside. This time it was more obvious and it was very much the correct call. The Curaçao offensive front was indeed offside. Not much of a debate there. However, despite 3 deflating moments, yes, these 3 deflating moments where the goals for Curaçao were called back, they did not give up. And with an additional 9 minutes of extra time due to the long VAR review on that first goal that was called off, this gave Curaçao life in the final minutes of the game. And in the 4th minute of stoppage time, Curaçao finally get a breakaway opportunity, and Jeremy Antonis scored the equalizer for Curaçao. And this time it counted. It stayed up on the scoreboard. And with that, Curaçao stunned the Canadians, turned this game around completely, and drew 1-1. And keeping their hopes of advancing to the quarterfinals very much alive, entering the final match day. As for Canada, okay, let's talk about this for Canada. This was abysmal. Canada, after playing pretty good football in the first half, and Nathan Saliba getting the first goal, it looked as if their dominance in the group entering the game, it got into their heads. And it clearly did. In the second half, especially in the final 20 minutes, they played with a serious and concerning lack of energy, while the Curaçao players began to play better and create more and more chances. This was a winnable game for Canada. This draw was preventable, and they were given opportunity after opportunity, goal called off after goal called off for Curaçao to wake the hell up in this game with, again, just all the Curaçao opportunities that were either falling short or getting called off. And let's not forget that Canada was even at one point given the benefit of the doubt on a big no call, the no call on that handball that should have been a penalty for Curaçao. Canada was given a million chances to essentially finish out strong, but did not. This was definitely a moment where Canada fell back down to earth, and I think got way too complacent after that 6-0 win against Honduras. Fortunately for them, their large goal differential keeps them in first place in Group B right now, but they will have to perform much better than how they just did in this second game if they want to win the group. Moving on to the next game that followed afterwards, Honduras versus El Salvador. It was Honduras who got the 2-0 win in Houston in front of a pretty solid crowd that seemed to be majority Honduran fans, but it was there was a significant number of El Salvador fans. What a great turnout from the fans of both respective countries. It puts really U.S. attendance to shame, honestly. In the 33rd minute, as we focus on the game, in the 33rd minute, Romel Kyoto on a great give-and-go play passes the ball to Edwin Rodriguez and then takes off running ahead to create that breakaway opportunity. Rodriguez passes the ball forward to him, and Romel Kyoto scores the first goal of the game for Honduras. The crowd goes crazy. It was a much-needed goal for Honduras, obviously. And then in the second half, in the final minutes of the game, El Salvador, in that second half, they started creating opportunities, but let's face it, they weren't, capitalizing on them. Very poor services, very poor crosses into the box. They were just not good. They were either going too short or they were sending the crosses to like Jupiter. With that, a lot of Salvador's chances really fell flat when they would get the ball in the attacking third. But El Salvador, in the final minutes of the game, they get one more opportunity from a free kick in the corner. This one could be dangerous. All the Salvador players, they pushed up to try and get the game-tying goal. But what follows when the Hondurans clear the ball out of the box is Dixon Ramirez recovers the ball for Honduras. And because all the Salvador players pushed up to the other end of the field for Salvador's set play attempt to try and tie this game at the last minute, it gave Dixon Ramirez open field to run and dribble with the ball with only the goalkeeper to be at the center circle of the field. Ramirez easily gets past the goalkeeper, Mario Gonzalez, and scored an empty net goal to win the game for Honduras 2-0. Never thought I would say that, an empty net goal in football. Usually that's something that we would say more in hockey and when in my hockey content. But no, we actually did see an empty net goal here in the Gold Cup. For Honduras and just the impact this has in terms of the group standings and how each team where each team stands entering the final match day. This was a much-needed win for Honduras following their House of Horror game against Canada. And now with this win, they go from being dead last and looking completely down for the count to currently being in second place in the group with a chance to advance to the quarterfinals. Incredible. So right now, Canada sits first with 4 points. They won against Honduras. They drew against CURAÇAO. And then they have the huge goal differential, of course. In second place is Honduras. While they did lose against Canada, they did get those 3 points. El Salvador sits in third with 1 point following the tie with CURAÇAO. And then, of course, losing this game to Honduras. And CURAÇAO in fourth place with 1 point as well. So here's where each team stands and what they need to advance out of Group B and into the quarterfinals. A win for El Salvador, it looks like. Correct. Here it is. Honduras. Let's start with Honduras first because this is the real interesting one, right? They went from pretty much looking like dead men walking to, now all of a sudden they're back in action. Despite dropping 6 goals against Canada, they just got absolutely destroyed in that game. They're still alive and they still have hope. Honduras, a win against CURAÇAO, and they are into the quarterfinals. Should they tie against CURAÇAO, Honduras will need El Salvador to lose against Canada. So as for CURAÇAO, who was really that awesome underdog story that surprised Canada, tying them 1-1, they will need to win against Honduras and hope El Salvador either draws or loses against Canada. And then, last but not least, El Salvador will have to win against Canada and hope Curaçao and Honduras tie to advance. And Canada will again, they're still in pretty good position. They'll probably make it out of the group. I'd be shocked if Canada doesn't. If they do, that would be a historic failure. Canada will absolutely have to win if they want to finish first in the group, though. So, yeah, with Canada's shocking 1-1 draw and Honduras getting a much needed win, Group B just got as interesting as Group C entering the final matches of the group stage. Everyone has a chance and everyone is still in it in this final group stage game. But that will be all for this summary of Group B's second match days. Andres from AA Sports, leave a like and subscribe. And put your thoughts on these games in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys, the viewers, think about these games, what your reactions, what your takeaways were. And also, feel free to put your predictions on which two teams you think will advance out of this group. I would also love to hear that as well. I know many of us probably have Canada as one of those teams advancing. But who do you think will be that second team? I would love to hear in the comments below. With that, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more football content as I cover the CONCACAF Gold Cup tournament, as well as the Mexico national team. You can definitely check out all of my videos for La Selección de Mexico. With that, leave a like and subscribe. Stay tuned in for more content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.